how I said in the first couple episodes that I wasn't going to do anything to this car? Well, you know how it is. Anybody who does this knows how it is. You can't help yourself. I know that I can't help myself. Now, as far as the car goes and the body, I am keeping it original. And what I'm doing here with the original manifold is trying to bring it back to life and refurbish it, because it has seen better days. I mean, it's 63 years old. You'll hear me say that a lot, because all these parts on this car, not all of them, but 95% of them are original. Even the alternator, pretty much everything is original, except for like spark plug wires and spark plugs and little things like that. But ultimately, if I ever want to bring this back to being period correct, I'd like to have this. So at the time when I was wire wheeling this and doing what I'm doing to it, I was planning on using it. Now, I had purchased a newer manifold, an Edelbrock Performer manifold, but as you saw in the last episode, I didn't have a carburetor for it. So I decided that I was just going to put it back together, clean everything out real nice, and run some sea foam through it and call it a day. And possibly, just leave it that way until the engine dies and then put a whole new engine in it. But as you can see, it's pretty, there's a lot of gunk in there. It's pretty rough. So I had the hardest time getting the old gasket off, because it was legitimately baked into the intake manifold. It was baked into the intake manifold, and it was baked into the heads, as you can see. So I had to really scrape it off with razor blades, and then I ended up actually wire wheeling it for a while. I didn't, in some of the areas, like at the very end there, but I didn't really show that process. I was really into the work today, and it was 93 degrees out in Pennsylvania, full of humidity, and the garage was about 102. So, and I had to stay out of the sun. So I was on a mission though, and I didn't care. So I really just wanted to get this, as clean as possible. I didn't want to have a crumb left in there. So I spent a lot of time. And after getting this all cleaned out how I wanted it to be, I decided that I was going to use the new manifold that I bought. Like I said, as we're sitting here, as I'm vacuuming this out, I still was planning on, got some coolant there. But which, if you do this, you got to be careful of that. You don't want to, do the coolant. But you don't want to suck that up in your vacuum. But it's at this point in time, I was still planning on using the original intake manifold. So I just figured I would clean this out and then I'd call it a day. But yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty nice. It's even better in person. Like it doesn't, the video doesn't really do this justice, but it definitely it looks a lot better in person. And I even got a little bit better than that. I just didn't, like I said, I get into the work, so like I don't film every aspect of it. That's probably the longest clip you're gonna see in this whole video, was the vacuuming, to be honest, because you'll see I just like start jumping ahead on things. But even those old valve covers, like I took the valve covers off, and I wanted to really clean in there. So you saw that in the last episode, but that's the new one, and it's a little beefier, and that's the old carburetor that didn't fit on it. So that's why I was just going to put the old carburetor back on. But a buddy of mine had that Edelbrock carburetor, so I figured, what the heck. And my mission today was to just get it running again, because I loved hearing it run, and it was so sweet to hear it run. But ultimately, I still haven't set the throttle up yet, but everything else is done. I'm going to get a different air cleaner. I don't like that air cleaner at all, but I mean, what a difference. I put the Moroso valve covers on there. I just love the way it looks now compared to that. Now, I know that, it's not period correct. I know that upsets a lot of people, and I'm very nostalgic as well. I would like to keep it original, but for now, I can always put that old, that manifold's nice and refurbished, so I can always put that back on. I can always put the old crappy Quadrajet carburetor back on, but I'm pretty sure this fall I'm going to be dropping an entire new engine in it, so I'm just going to run this for now.